90.1, the voice, the voice, the voice. Welcome to the show, everybody. You're listening to 3rd and 30. That's Brad Brooks over there.
What's up?
Wanye Davis
What's
right here.
poppin',
And I'm Javon Hubbard, man. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today. First and foremost, as usual, NFL. Week 4 is behind us. We got one more game tonight, but the most of week 4 is behind us. How'd you guys feel about that in all? What's your surprise?
Keep pounding. Yeah. You already know, man. I got to give much love to the hometown, man. Shout out to the 704 Carolina Panthers. They got that win over the Patriots yesterday, 33-30. But however, bottom line of this game, it's not time to panic in New England. They still in the AFC East. They got to worry about the Bills, Dolphins, Jets.
What's up with Cam, though, bouncing back, though? Cam that's vintage Cam. That's 2015 Cam right there.
No, it wasn't.
That was a
A
statement.
touchdown on the ground, 44 yards, 3
fooled.
through the air, no picks, no fumbles, no turnovers, anything.
And
What's
single quarterback that they played this year did the same exact thing. Every single quarterback they played
Yeah,
did
one
the
pick.
same
Said
exact
I
thing.
produced.
So
I'm
it's not. Cam was impressive. Like, he was more impressive than how he's been because he didn't miss the wide open throws. But it was a lot of coverage. But
it was a lot of questions about his ankle and his feet. Was he able to move around still, and they're not letting him move out of the pocket?
I mean,
he was moving. That 44 yards looked good to me. I don't know about you, Brad Brooks.
He looked fine. I mean, he looked fine, but the Patriots defense is one of the worst in the league. They have let quarterbacks tear them up. Alex Smith, Deshaun Watson, who's a rookie, and Drew Brees. They let them tear him up for at least, I think all of them had at least 3 touchdowns in their games against them. So, I mean, I'm not too impressed. Is 2015 Cam back? No, it was just 2015, and it's going to stay in 2015. It's not never.
So next week he goes back to how everything else is.
I mean, he's not a horrible quarterback. Like, he's going to have, good games here and there, but as far as a full 16-game season where he's going to have 35 touchdowns and 10 interceptions like he did in 2015.
You told us his era was possibly done, though. That's what you...
I mean, he is done, but he's not gonna. He's done as far as going back to 2015.
Blah.
MVP Cam is not happening.
Blah. This is definitely a positive for Carolina. Number one, we saw through the first 3 weeks that Cam really wasn't able to get anything going through the air. This week he definitely looked more comfortable. Losing Greg Olsen, he looked like he was using a lot of his weapons. Looking more balanced. They were able to establish the run game and the passing game. So this is a positive. Even though Wanye did point out the Patriots have the statistical worst defense in the league. It's still a positive for Carolina. The thing is, what they weren't doing last year through 4 games, they're winning. Right now, Carolina has a 3-1 record, and that's the most important stat that you get judged off by a quarterback. As of right now, they're winning. They're getting the ball rolling. So I'm fine with the passing game looked in sync, and I'm happy with Cam, man. Next week to take on Detroit.
One of the games that surprised me this week was the Bills knocking off the Falcons. I was not looking forward to that.
They got them boys playing some
Jones
defense.
Had, I think, 30 yards?
Them boys got a nice defense
crazy.
over there.
So, I mean,
Buffalo, they got the Sean McDermott got them boys playing a good defense.
I'm telling you, and they didn't get hurt as much as I thought they would, losing Stephon Gilmore.
Exactly.
And that was one thing that we thought was going to take a huge hit, quote unquote. But like you said, they're showing that they can hold their own.
Their defense playing well. Tyrod Taylor went into the new dome and went out there and made some plays, and they looking pretty good. They're looking like they can give a Patriots a run for their money, not in as far as the division as a whole, but in those 2 games that they have to play against them. Patriots better look out, man. 2-2 is not good. I thought they were going to run the table, maybe.
All right, so I do want to recant a statement that I made last week. Okay, the Ravens defense is sloping. They're going down, and it's continually going down. I mean, of course they had a high-power offense they played this week. Steelers, Le'Veon Bell did his thing finally. We saw Le'Veon Bell finally wake up. I think 144 yards, and then of course the score. So, I mean, that's obviously a high-powered offense, but it's looking bad for the Ravens right now.
It's time to blow it up.
It might be time.
Joe Flacco has thrown a pick in 10 consecutive games.
Yep.
And he's not getting any slack. I've said it once here before. Joe Flacco is one of the most overrated quarterbacks. He has the one Super Bowl, and all right, that's good on your resume. That's what you get judged off of. But he is very overrated.
We talk about Jay Cutler raping pockets, but I think Flacco is along.
Flacco. No,
I think Flacco is along, especially now. Now for the last 3 or so years, he's been getting paid not living up to his potential. Of
name one receiver he's had though.
I mean,
he had an old Steve Smith that the Panthers.
But Steve Smith was putting up numbers though.
He was. But what I'm saying is, if I'm saying an old Steve Smith is your number 1 receiver, come on, man.
But name a receiver that he had when he was winning.
Torrey Smith was a Pro Bowler during those years, and he had a great defense, and they had a solid running game with Ray Rice.
With Torrey Smith was a vertical threat. They have Mike
Wallace. And we figured it out.
Mike Wallace hasn't been anything since he left the Pittsburgh Steelers. But it's still
that they have those same intangibles. It's just that I don't think Joe Flacco is producing. But on a broader side, if we're speaking on quarterbacks, what about my man Deshaun Watson?
57-14.
This is a guy, Dabo Swinney compared him to Michael Jordan S. He says he just has that type of caliber. He's the type of dude, he holds everybody, counts. And when he plays football, we saw it in the 2 championship games. He loves the bright lights, and he comes to plays on the spotlight.
Yeah,
right now, Houston, they might have found something, man. They might have struck gold, man, drafting Deshaun Watson.
Well, because that's all they needed. I remember when we were talking on the show last season, when it became around draft time, and as we got closer, Deshaun started moving up. We said the Texans have a great defense.
Yep.
They got solid receivers. They got a solid running. They got a solid running game. Yep. All they need is that QB. Brock Osweiler obviously wasn't the answer.
Well,
and Deshaun Watson has really.
To me,
impressed.
I feel like he was the most NFL ready. I mean, coming literally from college to the NFL.
Yeah, the transition.
You even look at the weapons that he had there in Clemson, the defense that they had in Clemson. You look at that build and it's almost identical
Honestly,
to what's going on right.
True.
If you really think about it, it's really almost identical to what's going on right now. You put him in, he has that deep threat, and now they just got Will Fuller back, and he scored 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, Will
Fuller is a monster.
Yeah.
So you get that back now. You see what happens when you have another person. Now DeAndre is wide open now. Exactly. I mean, and it's just gonna be trouble moving forward. Lamar Miller was running.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just firing on all cylinders right now.
They look well, and against a Tennessee team who a lot of us expected to go 11-5, 10-6, make that next jump, to the playoffs. They really look bad in that game.
And then Mariota going down, so that's
that's another. Yeah, those injuries.
His health is really becoming an issue. I think at this point, I really don't know moving forward, but for sure.
We'll see.
So your Eagles knocking off the Chargers.
Okay, that's
I
had to mention that for 1 year real quick.
Hey man, my Eagles were 3-1. Lost to the Chiefs at Kansas City. Not a bad loss on the record. I feel like we can go 10-6, maybe 9-7. Carson Wentz is showing that he is progressing into a star. He is going. Give him about 3-4 years. Give him about 3-4 years, just along with the Sixers. Philly sports will be back on top.
I'm trying to tell.
Trust the process,
to make it to the Super Bowl.
Oh, Super Bowl.
So I'm talking Super Bowl.
Yeah,
See, we don't.
You don't care about getting better. You want Super Bowl.
We want Super Bowl. That's what we look for. We don't pay attention to 3-1. We don't pay attention to getting to the Super Bowl. We talking about winning the Super Bowl. Unlike them Charlotte boys.
The process.
We talking about winning the Super Bowl. But yeah, they're absolutely playing well. The defense, they haven't been up to par, but they do have 3 starting DBs out. So only have Malcolm Jenkins who consistently starts in there. The receivers, Alshon Jeffrey is looking good. He's looking rejuvenated. He got to change the scenery. Torrey Smith is a deep threat who they're using to their ability. I like my boys, man. Carson Wentz doing his thing, man.
So nice.
Okay, so what's going on with the Giants, guys? We got to talk Giants. I mean,
offensive line.
0-4.
Offensive line and Ben McAdoo. Ben McAdoo, it left a bad taste in my mouth when he called out Eli Manning. You don't call out a 2-time Super Bowl champion like that. You call him out in a meeting, but not in front of the New York media. That was very childish to me.
It's also bad that they don't go to bat for Odell every time he has a little antic.
Yeah.
The quarterback doesn't go to bat for him. The organization doesn't go to bat for him. It's time, when that rookie contract goes over, it's time for Odell to look for a new home because New York's just not the place.
You think so?
And that's one thing.
I feel bad about Brandon Marshall too, man. Brandon Marshall.
They're talking trade talk for Brandon Marshall.
He's never been to the playoffs.
I
don't know if he's the problem or not, but this man has never been able to be in a playoff environment. And him signing that deal to New York, he was assuming, we'll go back to the playoffs, we'll make something happen. Right. And that's just not happening.
And one thing about the game of football is it's a together game. You got to play it together. And for me, I feel like that locker room is spilling over into their gameplay.
Absolutely.
And they're not, the front office issues and things like that. And they're not gelling. They're not. I mean, even on from a wide receiver to a quarterback, ratio. Even from the running backs nobody's running in the backfield. I mean, they got me, you, and Brad back there running the ball. I mean, it's bad.
Well, I mean that offensive line is really the offensive line. Your offense is predicated on that, as the Cowboys have proven. If you have a great offensive line, you can honestly plug and play whoever, and you can get the job done a little bit.
Right.
That offensive line has been absolutely horrible, and I thought the Brandon Marshall signing was probably the biggest, aside from that Stephon Gilmore signing to the Patriots. I thought that was the biggest move. You had Sterling Shepard in the slot. You had Odell. Now you put Brandon Marshall. I thought that they would be 4-0.
Right.
But that offensive line has really let them down. The defense has been on the field way too long. and it's just not looking good for them.
One more game I wanted to mention really quick was that Oakland and Broncos game. That was an ugly game.
Derek Carr's down too.
Yeah, I mean,
that's rough.
But what I read was it was just back spasm. So they're saying he should be able to come back for week 5.
Well, that's good then.
But I mean, what was it? Marshawn Lynch was only held, I think, to 18 yards or something like that. I mean, so it's
that Broncos defense is something serious, man.
Like we spoke about. I mean, the beginning of the year.
There's something serious. They have not taken a drop off since the Super Bowl. Honestly, they have consistently been top notch, top 3. I think they're headed to that number 1 defense in the league this year. Chris Harris Jr., Aqib Talib, Bradley Roby, them boys locked them boys down.
Right,
and Michael Crabtree, getting his chain snatched last year, didn't even play in the game. Come on, man, you got to get your face back after that one.
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
EJ Manuel did come in and play well in that final 4th quarter. They had a drop touchdown, I think, by Jared Cook, whoever the tight end is.
Jared Cook.
Yeah. So EJ Manuel did play well. So hopefully Derek Carr comes back. If he does have to miss a game, he won't be in too much trouble. But the Raiders have not lived up to the hype this year.
Yeah. And their offensive line hasn't lived up to the hype. Last year they had one of the most dominant offensive lines, and this year they just look like that's one of the weakest sides of the ball. But you gotta give some love to my boys on the opposite side of California, down in LA, man. The Rams,
the Rams looking good,
are
man.
3-1, and they look good.
They went to Jerry World and
they gave Jared Goff a left tackle, Andrew Whitworth. They got him a playmaker in Sammy Watkins.
Todd Gurley, man, he's holding that rock.
Hey,
he's running.
He's holding that rock.
Your 1 year slump is over. Officially, it's done. It's done.
LA looks legit, man. They definitely look the part. I think they have the opportunity to compete in the NFC West and give Seattle a run for their money. They face them. They face them this Sunday, so this is going to be another test for LA to make a statement.
I like Goff a lot because the thing about that offense is it's just about not making mistakes. You have Todd Gurley, and you see the way he's running. You see the way he's moving. Okay. It's just if you don't make mistakes, you're okay. It's kind of a plug-and-play thing as well. Todd Gurley has 7 touchdowns through the first 4 games. That's ridiculous. I think it's 3 through the air and then the other 4 are on the ground. I mean, so he's running like a madman right now. That's really all you got to do is feed him, and it's been proven. There's stuff in the box. They're trying to stop him, and they cannot stop him.
And Sammy Watkins look like he's back at Clemson now.
Of course,
he's doing his thing. So I'm very proud of Jared Goff. He's starting to form into that number 1 overall pick. My boy Carson up in Philly doing a little bit better, but Jared Goff has proven that he's worthy of that number 1 overall pick.
For sure. We're going to go ahead and switch gears a little bit, guys. NBA. It's almost time. Once again, I can't believe it.
Preseason.
It feels like just yesterday we were talking about getting ready to start the NBA season, honestly. But it's starting a whole brand new season. So who are you guys' favorites right now coming in? Obviously, other than Golden State. Let's not talk Golden State right now.
All right, non-Golden State, which they made some moves this offseason too.
Of course.
As far as in the West, who can give them a best run for their money? I got the Rockets. I think let me rephrase. Let me change my team. I got the Spurs still. I still got the Spurs. I still got Kawhi, Greg Popovich, and those boys.
Right.
If you remember in Game 1, not saying that this would have been the story of the series, but in Game 1 they were beating them by like 20-something, 25 before Kawhi went down. I still got the Spurs. I take coaching over everything. The Rockets, they look good on paper. They don't have a bench. They gave up their entire bench for Chris Paul. So lack of depth is going to hurt you against the Warriors. And the Thunder, they got 3 ball-heavy guys who I don't think will fit well together, and they don't match up well defensively. So I still got the Spurs giving the Warriors a best chance to beat them.
Right. What about you, Brad?
Well, I'm going to have to agree to disagree with Juan. Yeah, I think OKC.
OKC?
I think what OKC has, they have a team in place that can possibly dethrone Golden State.
Right.
I still think Golden State are the favorites by a long shot.
Right.
But if you look at what OKC was able to do, they brought in somebody like Melo who's going to fill into that third role, be able to knock shots down. Mm-hmm. Westbrook, who is a dominant player, who's going to be able to kick out now to 2 other ball-scoring players. Mm-hmm. That's really going to be able to help him because we look at Golden State. Stephen Curry comes down the court. He can find 6'10", 7-foot Kevin Durant, knock down a jumper. He has another dude that takes the load off of him in Klay Thompson. He has another dude that takes off the load in Draymond Green. So that's just something, even though they do lack a bench and they lack depth, they'll still be able to have that starting lineup to compete. And
they don't have no depth. You gotta have depth.
The only thing about OKC is I feel like it's kind of just piecemeal together. I feel like it's kind of, just because, you got ice cream over here, you got hamburger helper over here, you got a hamburger up here. I don't want to eat all that at the same time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I really don't. One is for one thing, one is for the other. So the situation for me is that I don't know how well they'll mesh, especially Westbrook and the type of game that he plays with this I'm the man type of attitude, which he is. I mean, we're not gonna take that from him. But the situation is where you've got another person. Well, I think him and Paul George actually could mesh, but then you throw Carmelo in there. That's where it gets a little weird.
And then the thing is, as far as for matchups, the Warriors, their best biggest asset is probably the matchup problems that they give,
right.
Especially when they go that small ball lineup. When they got Draymond, KD, Iggy, Thompson, and Curry, they have no one who can defend Draymond. And Carmelo definitely isn't guarding KD.
Right, and and that's another issue.
They don't have any.
With him running the power forward position, he's going to see people like Anthony Davis. He's going to see people, these big guys every single night. What are you going to do against Anthony Davis? What are you going to do against
There's
that?
nothing you can do.
And you're Carmelo Anthony.
And I mean, they probably won't play him in the playoffs. But if you look at the top-notch team, if you look at two of the other top teams, the Warriors obviously, and the Spurs, he can't guard Aldridge. And he definitely can't guard Draymond.
Right.
So there's nowhere that you can go on the. As far as defensive matchups, they're just not favorable. And I don't think Melo, he's not first year New York Melo, so he doesn't have that offense where he can make up for his lack of defense anymore. I see the Spurs still competing with them, giving them their best shot at losing.
I mean, so like you said earlier, it comes back to coaching, right? But okay, so as far as Kawhi, I feel like Kawhi, barring injury, obviously is going to be, MVP runner. It's going to be, all these things like that. But playoff-wise, do you feel like he has enough help there to kind of fight with these teams that we're looking at now, especially in the West? I mean, especially now, the way the West is now. I mean,
the thing about the playoffs, especially in the West, is it all depends on the seeding. So how you do in the regular season depends on the seeding. So who you face in the second round. So let's say the Spurs have a lackluster regular season, they get that 4th seed, they win the first round, then they're facing Golden State in that next round. I like that better rather than meeting them in the Western Conference Finals where you've already had your first round series and then the second tough round series, and then now you're facing now that you're all beat up. So I'd rather them see the Warriors in the second round rather than Western Conference Finals where they don't have as much lag on them and they don't have as much wear and tear on them. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But so we saw Lonzo Ball last night.
He balled,
guys, for the first time. I think he did 7 points. What
5.7 rebounds.
5, 7, and 8. I think. Yeah. So I mean. That's pretty much what we think he's going to do, be able to do at least that,
Exactly.
So, how do you guys feel about him?
Yeah.
I still,
is the hype real?
The hype may be a little oversold.
It's a little oversold.
Because, he definitely looks comfortable in the court.
Yeah.
He went 2 for 8 shooting and made 5 points. But even though he went 2 for 8, didn't have that good of a shooting night, he was able to get the shots off with that awkward form that he has.
Yeah.
But he definitely looks comfortable. He brought back excitement at L.A. So it's like, I'm ready to see what he's going to do, but his dad said 50 games. That ain't going to happen. So it's going to be interesting to see what Lonzo can do, but that ain't going to happen. I think it's going to be rookies that can outplay him and outshine him this year. I really like Dennis Smith down there in Dallas, somebody who's not getting talked about enough. I like Donovan Mitchell up in Utah. So it's quite a bit of other rookies.
Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons is a second-year player.
He can still win Rookie of the Year.
He's eligible to win Rookie of the Year, but he's a second-year player.
But we know he's not really a rookie. Y'all love those rookies that really aren't rookies. Y'all love that. Y'all love that.
Like Joel Embiid 3 years to have Rookie of the Year.
Come on.
If
he didn't get it, that would have been an issue.
Hey, all I hear is a bunch of haters, man. Ben Simmons is going to win Rookie of the Year. He has the pieces around him to do it. Lonzo Ball doesn't. He has too much of a target on his back. Every single point guard that he's going to face in the West, which they're loaded with point guards, are going to be out to get him to shut up his father.
He's not going to shut him up.
He's not going to be able to
shut him up.
He's not going to be able to handle it. Just like how De'Aaron cooked him in the tournament. He's not going to be able to handle it.
So speaking about the West, guys, let's talk about LA's other team really quick. How far do you guys think the Clippers will slip without Paul George?
7th or 8th seed.
So you think still definitely playoff bound, pretty much with the 2 big men down low?
I mean, Blake Griffin. Yeah. You mean
Chris Paul? Did I say Paul George? I'm sorry, Chris Paul. I'm sorry.
I feel like the slip isn't too much because if you look at it, Utah was the 5th seed, or were they a 4th seed? They were 5th seed. 5th seed. Gordon Hayward went over to the East. That knocks them out completely because they have no one to replace him.
Yeah.
So I feel like they don't slip too far. I feel like they slip to 7th or 8th. I feel like Portland maybe moves up to maybe that 6th spot. It kind of, and then you also have Minnesota as well. I'm trying to think of, so maybe they get the 5th seed.
I mean, and Pat Bev said that he was ready to step into that role.
Well,
I don't know how much.
That's how much say that.
Unquote,
but he can't score the right. He can't score the right.
And that's always been an issue. Defending is only going to take you but so far.
Yeah, and I mean, Lou Williams will have to step up a lot. They also lost J.J. Redick.
Yep.
To the Sixers. You know what I'm saying? We had to do our thing. But Blake Griffin, I feel like he can do like 25 points a game, honestly. Because if you think about it, he's going to have a lot of touches. He's the main focal point of the offense. He doesn't have Chris Paul, who's going to be ball hogging a whole lot. I feel like he can carry him to at least a 7th seed.
Well, I personally don't think so. I think, when you have teams that are built by the front court, I just don't think it's going to work. I think DeAndre, he already, number one, when he had the opportunity to go to Dallas, he said, I don't want to go. I want to go back. I don't want to have my own team. So I don't trust DeAndre. And DeAndre's the type of center you have to take him out the last 3 minutes of the game because he can't make free throws.
Yep.
So I definitely think LA, they might be on the verge of competing for that 8th, 7th seed, but they'll definitely have a drop-off. I don't agree with what Wanye said about the Jazz. I don't think the Jazz will fall off that completely. No. I don't think.
Why not? What keeps them?
Well, I think, number one, I'm not saying Utah's going to win the championship. They definitely still have a good point guard. They got Rubio now.
Dirty soda and styrofoam. Spill the day to get my mind blown. Dress it up, you know the name.